It's about being 1% better every day, breaking habits, building positive habits. It's a grind. It's about consistency.
We've all had the beats. Let's be honest. Were you better for it?
100%.
I'm so scarred.
Okay. and if you say, it still hurts. People, we can't teach violence to our young ones because then they think violence, and then what do? Violence.
They do violence.
They do violence.
You guys know I had issues with my back. So I'm doing everything I can to.
And your neck?
And my
Don't finish it. Don't finish it.
I wanna make you my only baby. Baby girl, now you.
Welcome to You Decide Podcast episode 4, baby. We made it. I'm your host, Chris. I'm joined by the usual suspects, Azza, Lil and of course Jeffrey. Matua Slips running the cameras behind the scenes. And as always, this is the podcast where we love perspective and you decide. So first up, Slips, what do we have?
So today I got a game called Make That Sound. I'm gonna ask you a sound to make, and you guys have to make it, and I'll judge who's the best.
Make it.
just gonna make it.
Easy.
Just gonna make it.
First one is a zipper. Jeff.
Who's going first?
Oh no.
Bo.
Wait. Zip. I think that's it.
Ooh, he just said the word.
Aaron.
That was Home Improvement. That sounds like a fart.
Okay, now we'll hear the real sound.
Aaron wasn't even close.
Well, you said zip. You said.
You don't literally have to spell that either.
Chris was like,
I had all the right octaves for that sound.
oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna have to give it to Aaron.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Wow.
Nice,
All right.
nice.
Next sound is drinking out of a straw. Bo. Chris. Aaron.
Why are you eating the show?
You gotta taste it at the end.
Whoa.
Oh, that's Sprite.
All right, and the real sound.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. I'll take that.
Thank you, Matua.
Ah,
You know it's me.
that's going to Bo.
That was a
Just do it again.
one more time. That was a half. That was a half vessel. So yeah, you gotta hear though at the end.
All right, next sound is a mosquito flying. Jeff.
Not how you snore at night.
That's a bee.
No, it's like,
Chris.
That's the winner there.
that's a fly. That's a fly.
That's a fly.
That's a fly.
You know
You know
that's
that's the
compete.
winner.
I can't compete.
Go,
Okay,
go,
go,
hurry.
Aaron.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You know.
And for the real sound. Unanimous, that was Chris. Oh, never mind.
Can you put your phone on silent, Matua?
Too low.
You're behind in your payments for the subscription. Subscription.
Oh, rein us back in, buddy. Rein us back in.
Last one is a video rewinding. A videotape.
Did it last week. Paul did it last week. Can we just play that?
A videotape rewinding.
That was rewinding underwater.
I can't do it. No, it was like.
That's a horse, mate.
That's a lawnmower.
Aaron.
It's yours to put the plan yet. It's yours to put the plan yet. That's reversed. That's reversed. Surely.
And for the real sound.
Thank you.
That was
It's
definitely
yours
not
to
Jeff.
It's yours to put the
It's
plan
going to
yet.
Chris.
Yeah.
Baby.
Chris, the winner, with 2 points.
Well done, Chris. Well done, buddy.
Oh, your best friends.
Yet again.
Can you do that again?
Yet again. I find myself in the winner's circle. Anyhow, we're all winners, fellas. Some more than others. We're going to find out a little bit more about that in our speed debate topic. Prove me wrong. A fan favorite. One that you guys have asked for again and again. So we've brought it back. It actually never left. Matsu Slips has prepared a statement. Of course, we have two teams, for and against. Ultimately, you decide. Please tune in and chime in as well in the comments. What do we have, Matua?
All right, so today's speed debate topic is smacking your child still an acceptable form of discipline in today's society? For, we have Bo and Jeff, and against, we have Chris and Aaron. Sweet.
Chris and Aaron start off since we started off last week.
You guys always say that.
Yeah, but we actually did start off last week.
Did you?
Yeah, yep. And
Well,
we
I'm
took
going to
that
start
out.
off right now, and
we
I'm
got
going to, I'm going to start off right now then, because me and Ezra, we got this. We already know.
We'll see about that, buddy.
We
We
will.
got the upper hand because they hate kids.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, good people, YDP
Community.
whānau, should I say? People, we can't teach violence to our young ones, because then they think violence, and then what do? Violence.
They do violence.
They do violence. You know what I'm talking about?
I hear you.
You hear me? You love
I hear
that
you,
one?
brother.
You love it so much you want to take it right now?
Yeah, instantly I think, you know, trauma.
Mm.
Trauma for kids. You know,
Trauma.
it's something that you don't want growing up.
Don't want it.
You know, I've found in past studies, you know, those who've been disciplined, you know, grow up traumatized and, you know, they head down a path of
Distraction.
distraction. Oh, distraction or destruction?
Both.
Yeah, both, yeah. Yes. And then fling it back to Chris because he's
Yeah.
got an amazing point coming.
So I'm going to catch it right now,
Okay.
and I'm going to hit the home runner right here. Listen. You can't teach violence.
Oh, so
No,
you're
no,
just
no, 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 no.
reiterating your first point
Just
that you
highlighting
made.
that point because that was really
That's
important.
really
Okay.
strong.
Listen, the best way to teach your kids is by example. Okay?
Okay, that's a good point there, buddy.
Because
I-
they're going to
That's
grow
gonna
up
be-
and they're going to copy what you've modeled for them.
Mm.
And if you've modeled a life of violence, of disciplining by beating them up, guess what they're going to do when they grow
Beating
up?
them up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're going to that.
That's
extreme,
why on this
okay.
side, we love timeouts. Timeouts are the way forward.
Get in that corner.
Get in that
Yeah,
corner,
and,
right?
yeah, and those timeouts, your kids will still talk back to you.
Get in there. Think about what you've done.
Think about your actions.
Yeah, and then they're gonna deny it, and then what are you gonna do? You can't smack them, so they're not gonna get a timeout.
Does that happen with your kids? That you know about?
Okay, thank you. Two very poor points.
That's a very bad argument.
I'll give you the honors. You can unpack. You can pick them apart.
All right, buddy. Start us off. Since you're the one with kids here, I'll.
Yeah, tell us what
Yeah,
it's like
tell
when
us.
you don't hit your
Here's
kids.
the thing. Hey, here's the thing. We've all been down that road. We've all had the beats. Let's be honest. Were you better for it?
100%.
I'm still scarred.
Okay. and if you say,
It still hurts. my
The lacerations.
well, guess
The
what?
lacerations.
I could say that you got to separate violence from discipline.
They're two different
And-
things.
Yeah.
Two different things.
And if you grow up in a household where there is violence, then that isn't a form of discipline. Okay.
It's a way
so
of life.
That's
Yeah.
no.
So-
Because you got to say, like, what is violence from discipline? The odd
So if
clip,
I,
the odd clip over the ears. Like, I told you not to do that.
And if you had a mom,
And
and
then
if
you
you
get
had a
brain
mom like
damage.
mine, if you had a mom like mine and you received a hiding, they did it out of love. They
Yeah.
say.
It's
They
always.
say it's always out of love.
And then
because it feels like it was out of hate.
once you get to a point in your life and you look back and you'll be like, damn, that's why I got a hiding. I was such a disappointment. I was such a
Wait,
mess.
let's put it this way. A lot of the kids or the people that I know that haven't received hidings, they're brats.
Yeah.
They talk
Okay.
back to their parents.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
controversial.
That's a
They-
big
That's a
statement.
big
They-
statement.
they
yeah.
elope.
by that.
Yes. Absolutely.
They elope. They run away. You know, they're in trouble with the police.
Listen to this.
And this isn't a generalization, anyways. This is facts. This is truth.
Okay, let me just bring this point to your attention. Bo said, years later, right? You're looking at yourself, man, that's why I got a hiding A. But I'm saying, can't we teach that same lesson without the violence?
No, we can't. No, we
No,
can't.
we can't.
Can't we
No,
find
we
another way?
can't.
There's only so many
there another
words.
way?
There's only so many
There's only
words.
so
another
many
way.
words that can be said.
There's only so
until-
many words in the Samoan vocabulary that you can be like that you can use to teach your kids.
I mean, all we have is
We're
time.
after,
Timeouts. That's all we got.
and the
Those
same kids
timeouts
are
don't
spending,
work.
and the timeouts turn into life. There's the life timeouts in prison. Okay,
I guess we're the guy who got a hiding, when he, when he
to
eventually
be
grew up.
successful.
He went to jail. The kids who
To
got
be
timeout,
successful?
they're successful lawyers. They're lawyers and they're doctors.
Yeah, and they,
Did you
and
know
they
why?
never go to see their
And
parents.
how many of them do you know?
Heaps.
How many kids do you
Yeah,
know?
Harry,
that
he
were
never
raped?
got a Harry the lawyer, he never got a hiding.
He got thrown through a wall. He got thrown through a door.
Hey, this is our closing statement. If you don't receive a hiding and you get put in timeout like these boys have said, you're going to just talk back to your parents anyway. You're not going to respect them because you received timeouts. Receiving a hiding is not a form of violence. It's a form of discipline and love.
And it's the ultimate. It's the ultimate form of love. Eh?
Is it a love? Is it love leaving scars on your body for your kids?
See, that's what you call abuse. This
Yeah,
is not.
this
This is not.
We're talking like a smack,
we're
maybe?
so- talking about-
so Bo with 3 daughters, what's it like disciplining your
Nah,
smacking
yeah,
your
just
kids?
tell everyone.
Oh, sorry, what's it like
That's
smacking,
disclosed information, buddy.
smacking your daughters? It's never been done, eh?
No,
It doesn't happen.
No.
Why?
He leaves it to his wife.
Because timeouts are more efficient.
Have-
Timeouts.
Okay,
man.
have my kids. You know, have they got the over the head sometimes? Yes, I will. I will. Or the odd smack on the hand. Don't touch that because why? It's dangerous. Hey. And when you're a kid and you don't understand much, you're like, oh, if I tell you don't touch that, they'll be like, cool, and then continue on to do it. If I imprint my hand on your palm, you know that's a no-go zone.
See, to me, like doing that, it leaves a scar, like mentally and like emotionally.
Like,
Scar,
why
but
they hate-
Whereas if you were to tell them off, like, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
And then they'll turn around like, shut up.
No. Don't
They
do
turn
that.
around and be like,
And
shut
you,
up.
and you take away
Yeah.
something that they
And they
enjoy.
turn around,
You
they're
take
like-
away their
And then
barbie
they-
hole.
Then
Yeah.
they turn around and say,
Yeah.
I'm going to go live somewhere else.
No, they
They
take-
just
No,
run
they
out
turn
of
around.
home.
Well, they
We
turn
can't
around, I
hear them
hate you,
because
Dad.
No.
How can you hear them then time out?
Yeah.
Can't hear you then. Like,
You
this
take
is
away
just
something that
thoughts.
they love, like their dollhouse and
Okay,
stuff,
closing
then they
statements
realize.
from Chris and Aaron.
Hey,
Yeah.
here's our closing
Stop,
statement.
just
Listen,
stop.
listen, Linda, please, fellas.
Bring it home, baby. Okay, that's already home. But
It's
Isn't
already
the baby in timeout?
Here's the thing. Like I said, we can learn the same lessons but a different way. We don't have to take the same path. Just because you got beaten as a child, maybe it's because you were an asshole. I don't know. Maybe you deserve that. But there's many different ways to learn the same lesson. Kia ora.
be like,
Doesn't always have to be the smack. We leave that to you, Mina.
Wait for your kids.
All right. That was a very good debate again.
After not listening.
That was a stitch up. That was a stitch up.
But we won.
Started off a bit iffy at the start with Chris and Aaron. Went well with Bo and Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Strong debate from them. So I'm going to have to give it to Jeff and Bo.
Yes.
And that's 3 wins for us.
What are you talking about?
Easy.
that's 2 apiece.
Easy claps.
That's okay.
How long has o ko ole makua alofa? See, yeah, got those lines.
Mina's high half the time, so I'm not bothered about that. Nice. Good debate, fellas. As always, nice cheeky little way to poke fun, but also to
Smack fun.
And just a,
Smack fun.
just
to
a,
highlight your trauma.
just a disclaimer.
Nah, you guys
Disclaimer.
be your kids.
Yeah,
go on.
We may not necessarily believe these views or do these things, all right?
For
This is just-
argument.
this is for argument's
All
sake.
right.
For argument's sake.
Fellas, so we've had a good past few weeks of really deep discussion in Talanoa about some really key issues. And we've had some really good engagement as well. As always, shout out to our followers on Instagram, TikTok, and also check out our YouTube page as well, YDP You Decide Podcast on YouTube. You can find all our episodes there. And we appreciate all the love that we get on all our social media platforms. So thank you. So Jeffrey,
Yes, sir.
what do you have for us today, my friend?
Boys. I've
Boys.
Boys. Lads. Okay. I've been reading a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. All right. So today I want to talk about habits and talk about some things that we do that we're aware that we're not doing maybe, some habits that we can try and break, even some habits that we can try and create. But I'll just give a brief description of what James Clear views habits as. He says, habits are small decisions you make and actions you perform every day. So I want to start off lighthearted. The first question is, what are some weird habits you have?
I got this one. I don't know if this is a habit, or it's just like continued behavior. I don't know if this is weird for anyone else, but you know the volume on the TV and the radio?
Alright.
It has to be even.
Even?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Like, if you put that on 9,
13.
like,
Oh,
like, I don't know why, but it just irks me when I look down and it's on 17 and I just have to bump that up one or turn it down. You know?
Yeah.
That's one of those weird habits that I have.
Yeah. Where do you think you get that from?
Ah, man. I thought that other people do this. Is it
No, I know a few people that do that.
I don't know. I just like to see. I actually like to see even numbers all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that might be a disorder of some sort.
That definitely sounds like one.
That's the trauma
that
from getting
mammoth
beaten up all the time.
Are you better for it?
No.
Yeah.
Some weird habits? Paul? Any?
I wouldn't say weird, but I'm constantly late. I think
Preach.
bro, everyone gives me like
That's not a
everyone
weird
gives-
habit.
everyone gives me
That's normal for you.
everyone gives me crap for this, hey. But I'm actually like I'm every minute down to the minute guy. Like I'm not going there and I'm waiting 30 minutes for something to start. I'm there, bang, and then bang,
Bang, boom.
bam, boom, and then I'm half an hour late. Nah, I have like, yeah, that's not a habit, but that's just something.
This is the guy that
That's
we
like-
say that he would be late to his own funeral. Like, that's this guy.
Honestly, do you know what Steve Harvey said? people that are late to things are they're the happiest people ever.
Steve
And I
Harvey
consider
was
myself-
lying.
Yeah.
I consider myself
Steve
one of the
Harvey.
happiest people.
Stephen Harvey, you're a liar.
Actually,
cannot be.
Steve Harvey, you have $1 million that say you're not a liar.
Steve
Okay.
Harvey can be late. He's got $1 million.
You think I didn't have $1 million? You're right. I don't have $1 million.
But like, you know what? I can't stand being late.
Yeah. Why is that?
I don't know. Like, don't you guys feel that thing? Like, oh, it's 8:00 now. Damn, I'm like you just get annoyed that. You're
It
not
depends on what it's to, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, if
Mostly
it's a
work.
formal event, if it's work, can't be late.
Like, honestly, if it's somewhere,
what?
now you know what it comes down to. If it's somewhere I don't want to be,
But you're late
nine
coming
times,
here.
Nine
Oh.
times out of 10, shut up. 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna be late. Hey, I think, and it goes back to like, yeah, we would be early. Like this is from years when I was in my younger years, like going early to everything, like to church. First one's there. The Sunday school starts at 9:30. We're there at 9:45, and then we're waiting. We're constantly waiting on people to get there. Like rugby games were the worst. Hey, like we would get there and no one's. We would get there just because my like mum and then especially people at home, especially in the older generation, they're like time is time. When they set a time, you're there at least half an hour before. That's on time for them. And I think that's like when I was younger, like we were constantly early.
So
for
do
everything.
you think your lateness comes, you being late comes from a place where you were always early and you always had to wait for people? So now you've
No,
got it in your
yeah.
mind as like,
Not really,
I
like
can't be bothered waiting for people anymore, so I'd rather turn
Yeah,
up
like,
late with
that's-
people already
I
there.
hate waiting for people.
Yeah.
I hate like.
Oh, so do
honestly,
you not
I'd
think we
rather
hate
be-
waiting for you?
Oh, we love waiting for you.
That's so rich coming
So
from both.
I'd
inconsiderate.
rather you wait your ass for me
Oh,
to get there. We
right.
start,
So
but
rich.
nah. But actually, it's like considering where I was before. Like I've had to grow up and learn that
So-
you're
so
on
you-
time when
yeah.
you're 5 minutes early. You're late when you're on time. So that's.
Thanks, Dr. Lee.
But that's
Ezra?
that's a habit that I would.
I haven't got too many. The one thing that I do, just going off what Chris said, it just springs to mind, is I can't let the microwave get down to 0.
Yo, preach.
No,
That's me
for real.
too.
I always stop it at 1, and that's just the thing that I always do. I don't know why it is.
You must be really hungry.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I know what it is. I know what it is.
Lack of patience.
You don't
It's
wanna
the
run
no.
out.
You don't want to hear the at 4 in the morning.
Not the midnight snack.
Again, Aaron? Really?
Really, you were just in here 2 hours ago. No, yeah, that's
or it could be like you don't want to lose time on it, like you don't want to waste time, and you just
1 second,
you
you
have
don't
a-
want to waste 1 second?
No, but you don't want to like be in a situation where you run out of time or something, and it goes ding 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 ding, your time's up.
And you know what
then the
the
bomb goes off.
and you know what the worst invention was? The cool time after. Have you seen? those?
Yeah,
Oh, I hate
it
those
cools
things.
for like a minute or like 30 seconds.
It cools after.
cools.
If it counts down to 1 and
And
then
then it-
0,
and then it
it
goes-
says cooling.
How
And
long
it's
does
still
it
in
cool
there.
for?
For
normally?
like 30 seconds or like a
Like
minute.
for I don't know however long, but I hate
Man,
that.
those must be nice. Having one of those
Had a
microwaves.
microwave like that before?
Oh, that's the one at work.
Oh, you guys still got the the dial?
The dial, the knob.
Man, like honestly, my weird habit, and I know a lot of you boys do this out there, is you go on your phones in the toilet. When
I
you
saw
are-
that.
when I take and this is embarrassing and it is weird, but whenever I go for a poo, I always have to be on my phone, and that's just like for me when I'm sitting there, it's just like a moment of solitude. You're like just there. There's no one telling you what to do. You have your peace, and you're just watching your YouTube videos, scrolling TikTok or whatever it is. That is my weirdest habit, and it's probably unhygienic. Unhygienic, but yeah, I know
I saw
a
that.
lot of boys.
I
do
saw that study. I think I heard it on the radio. Men spend 7 hours on the toilet a year, on average. Okay.
Is
And
that-
heaps of it was because they were on their phone. They were either checking the news, or they were just flicking through their phone, or they were making phone calls in the toilet.
Is that a long time?
Huh?
Is that
Is
a
7
long
That's
hours a
not-
long time?
I
I
think.
spend about an hour in the toilet every day. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. No, there might be 7 hours or 7 days. One of like,
think
nah,
it'll
it
be
can't be 7 days.
Nah, I reckon 7 days.
Or maybe
Yeah,
it was
it
7
must
days.
be.
I can't
Hours.
remember. I heard on the radio though.
Because
That
like
was-
Jeff was saying, like, and I know people do this too, but like some people sit in the toilet for like 40 minutes. I know. I'm saying I know these people like it's not me.
It is
Are
him.
you doing your white chicks though?
Nah,
That's a weird habit.
we've discussed some weird habits that we do, but now I want to go into some new habits that you want to create for yourself. Some habits that will help you become a better man, become a better person, become a better friend, husband, partners. So, what are there any specific habits that each and every one of you guys want to create just to become a better person?
I think before we go back, I just want to go back a little bit to the phone thing. Do you check your phone? Is that the first thing you do when you wake up? Not necessarily for the alarm, but like, do you open your phone and scroll?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Check
I ha-
emails. Like-
whatever.
Check
But
business
anyway-
meetings and
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
but when you do that, you're unaware you're doing it, eh? Because it's just, but
That's
that's what a
the
habit
real
is, eh? You're doing it
Yeah, yeah.
automatically. You're doing it. Your brain it just knows. Pick up the phone and start scrolling. Yeah.
But that goes into like if I was to think of habits, my first one would be being early to something, eh? And like we talked before, how I was constantly like I have the mindset of like just being late is okay. So maybe working on punctuality, but also being like at home, I'm constantly on my phone. Hey, and if like in between whatever, like I'm constantly checking. Like sports is a big one. Like I'm always checking
Yeah.
like the
I'm with
latest
you there, buddy.
updates,
I'm
the
with
layest
you there.
updates on like NRL or like
NFL,
if you have fantasy, like if you're doing NRL fantasy or NFL fantasy now, like that's like
You're looking at the gate here.
hey, you're constantly checking your
Yeah,
phone.
100%.
And yeah, but maybe like just putting when you get home, actually put your phone away. I think that might be more of a practice than a habit.
And that's why it's good that iPhones or like just phones in general have added on screen time,
yeah.
so you can track the amount of time you are spending on your phone. Because man, sometimes I check my screen on time and that's ridiculous. So yeah, that's
And
that's
it
a
gets
great
to like
point, eh?
you know when it's really bad, like when you look around and like all my kids are on screens. Like if it's not a tablet, then it's a phone, and they're just like YouTube kids, like crazy.
straight up, eh?
Like Coco Melon,
Yeah.
whatever the
Yeah.
newest, like, and like it's bad now that I look at it because they're so like that's their fun time, but I think maybe like actually putting not just my phone but all phones away.
And that kind of speaks to something that something that I'm kind of keen to really develop is putting the phone away, because one thing I started doing this year is like really limit the amount of work I bring home, right? And
Yep.
and keeping that at work. But when you get home, like the first thing you do usually after you sit down after a hard day's work as well, like
Yeah.
everyone works here, we know what it's like. You just get home, you just want to relax. Why is it that we pick up the phone first to relax? And my point was, I'm trying to spend more quality time with my significant other, like, and purposely putting in time with that person, not just because I think sometimes you get, especially when you live with someone, and Bo can speak to this as well. When you live with your spouse, sometimes you get confused in that, we've been together the whole day,
Yeah.
but actually that's not
Yeah.
real quality time.
Yeah, that is so
That's
good.
just time doing life, that you're
Yeah.
just doing life. So my spouse and I, we work together. Okay, so I'm going home, coming back, going the weekend, and she's like, we didn't spend any time together. I'm like, what are you talking about? We just spent the last 7 days together.
Yeah. Yeah.
But none of that time was allocated to her.
Yeah.
It
It wasn't quality time.
wasn't.
eh?
Yeah, and so that's one thing I'm really trying to work on and to develop. But because the past 5 years, 6 years, maybe longer actually. How long have smartphones been out?
Yeah.
10 years, longer than that. I'm just so accustomed to clocking off work, get home, jump on my phone,
Yeah.
and that's my relaxed time.
Yep.
yeah, so I guess I'm, in a sense, creating that habit of spending more quality time with my significant other, with my family, with you guys, but also unlearning, hey,
Breaking
unlearning,
bad habits,
breaking
eh?
that bad habit.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I wanted to go to next is after Ezra is what are some bad habits that you also want to break as well? Because we want to create new ones, but there's bad ones that we need to break as well, eh? Like what Bo was saying, spending time on our phones. Time is such a underappreciated asset that we have. It's such an important commodity that we do have. Not a lot of us have money, but a lot of us have time, and that's how we use that time. It's how we spend that time. That matters at the end of the day. We all have 24 hours in a day, but how do we use it? That's what matters.
You know, like, before you jump in, like, you know what the worst transition that I saw, especially with phones, is when our parents started getting on it.
Yeah.
Like, because they were the biggest, like, you know, spend time. Maybe it's afternoon devotions, or sorry, evening devotions, or maybe it's like just chilling, watching TV together. Even they were the ones saying like, "That's enough TV," like, you know, like let's sit on like. And then now, like the freaks, like when they got onto smartphones, onto Facebook specifically, man, they're sitting there with us and they're constantly on their phones. Like they're more in social media than we are.
It's funny, because man, sometimes I hear mom scrolling through the Facebook stories.
Nah, this one.
Facebook stories.
Nah,
come
be
on.
honest right now. Do any of your olds watch random people's funerals on YouTube?
Oh man, oh my gosh.
It was almost as like ridiculous as when I used to see my cousins watch toy reviews.
Toy review.
Like the kid opens the thing and plays with the toy, and I was like, "This is dumb."
Yeah.
But then when I was like, "Oh, who passed away?" Like, you know,
They don't
like,
know.
"Oh, we don't know." I was like, "Oh, okay." But they're like cracking up at all the testimonies, like they knew the person.
Yeah.
I was
Getting
like,
a bacteria from someone you
like
don't know.
crying. They're like, "That's so sad." I'm like, "Huh? You don't know them?"
It's funny that you say that, Paul, because my dad's like in the past, I would say 4 years, like he's gone throughout his whole life, 60 plus years, not having a phone, to now all of a sudden owning a phone and an iPad, and that's all he does. All he does is sit there and it's random. Like some days I can hear him watching like Tom and Jerry on Facebook, and he gets a little bit of a kick out of that. I'm like, what is going on here?
Nah, you know the worst thing is like when they like don't turn it down and they play a video in the cinema like on loud. And it's just like
I think my dad hasn't discovered on Facebook that if you comment on something, everyone can see what you. And some of the stuff I don't even want to talk about what he comments on things. But like going to what you guys were saying about like your phone habits, I didn't think I had one until you guys sort of brought this up. Like now that I'm thinking about it, it's something that I do as well. I go home from work and I'm straight away on my phone. And I'm thinking about the time that I spend inside our actual house and not in the sleeper that I stay in. And I think about that time that I spend in there. It's very little, and I'm just thinking about the kids that are at home who are like growing up, and you know the time that I'm not spending with them.
Yeah.
And it's just mind blowing because
Neglecting is the
not neglecting. No.
Just pushing them to the side. Nah, and it's crazy that you say that, Ezra, because what I've got here is that a lot of us aren't aware of our habits.
Yeah.
Like, right? It's
I think
like
I'm in denial.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are in denial, but then it's an awareness issue, eh? A lot of us aren't aware of what we're actually doing because we're going through life just going through the motions half the time. To be honest, like when you go to work, a lot of the times you're just going through the motions. When you come home, like what the boys are saying here, they just go through the motions. They kick their feet up, they go straight onto their phones. And that's such a normal thing because we're not aware we're doing that. But having these discussions that right now, like we're sitting down here, talking about it, makes you aware and you're like, man, I actually do that. And I need to do something to break that habit or to create a better habit.
Yeah, hard. And I'm not like I'm not a expert on this.
No,
But
none of us.
all I know is that look, We're not saying, or it doesn't sound like we're saying that you should just throw your phone away.
No,
Yeah.
no way.
Balance.
Balance,
Balance is key.
yeah. Everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation.
Like
Yeah.
I think that's the key here, eh?
Yeah.
And like, how ironic is it that we're on a podcast that goes online? We want people to watch our podcast and scroll through our content,
Yeah.
and here we are talking about how to manage. But in saying that, there's power in actually realizing that what we're contributing to bad habits of phone usage.
Yeah.
Like, and if you're sitting here and you're listening and you're probably like an hour in to one of our podcasts, like, it's okay to have a break and come back. It's okay to actually
Just put your phone
put
down.
your phone down.
Like and subscribe.
Just come back though.
Go spend some time with your kids, then re-listen to us.
Re-listen.
Yeah. No, but that's like the awareness thing that I was talking about. It might not necessarily have to do with your phone. It can be for me sometimes when I'm bored I find myself eating. Like, you know, and it's like, man, why do I do that? Like, you're just trying to fill that space with something that you just do, but without really noticing you're doing.
Hard. And I can say this because we're all about the same age.
Yeah.
Jeff, you look 40. Okay. And these are things that, as like now that I've matured a bit, I did not realize you needed to know. Just the basics, eh? My ones are sleep more.
I've got that.
I'm telling you right now, eh? These are legit ones that you
When you say sleep more, like 7-8 hours sleep
Like, well,
minimum.
Sleep
Okay.
earlier,
sleep earlier. But if you think about as an 18-year-old Jeff, right? 18-year-old us, 19-year-old us, just fresh out of high school on the party scene, doing all that stuff. How much time did you give to sleeping?
Yeah.
Right? You thought you were a machine. Like, I thought I was invincible.
Yeah.
What
We
time would you get home on the weekend?
We used to would go out. Oh,
1 o'clock.
Aaron and Paul would go out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday student nights, Thursday out at Takapuna, Friday switch shop and Little Easy. Showing your age here.
Yeah.
Stop now.
your age,
Don't say
your
anymore.
age is hangable.
What was the
That's
other
your
place that
age.
you used to go to? You were telling me before. But, sleep earlier and sleep a bit more, eh? Drink water. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's another one. Jeez. Aren't you?
water.
And the one that I always used to hate it when I heard it when I was younger, but now I appreciate it is eat your damn veggies. Build a damn immune system.
Yeah.
Because when you get to the site, bro, and I don't think it gets any better. Like we don't it's not Super Saiyan levels here. Like you go down.
Yeah. No, those are those are some simple habits that many of us can really just work on, eh?
hard.
How about this habit, Saying no to the boys.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
saying
no.
saying no on a Friday night to the boys just to stay home.
And do
Like,
what?
And
And play on your phone.
And play on your phone and not
Neglect your kids. No.
and rest.
and smack your kids.
No, but think about even in our younger days, like, man, like when the boy, what he's doing, even though you're probably like stuck doing something,
Yeah.
you're like nothing.
You
Like,
find a
You
way.
always find
you
a way,
always
eh?
find a way.
Always find a way.
You always find a way.
Mina always found a way.
Like Mina would have youth, but
Matsu Asla,
he
eh?
probably in the middle of
Prayer meeting.
of prayer meeting, and then he'll be like, "Yep, we're on like keen."
Yeah.
Learn to say no to the boys
Learn to say
or
no.
to your girls, or whatever your group
Whoever
of
you hang
friends,
out with.
yeah, whoever you hang out with.
So, what I take from this is that there's a lot of habits that that we can break, right? And there's a lot of little habits that we are aware that we're not doing ourselves as well. What are just quickly? What are some what's a process or a system you're going to put in place in order to break a habit or even create a habit? What's something that's important to you that you're going to put in place going forward from this discussion that will actually help with your habit building?
I think this is the first step.
Mm.
Really.
The
It's to
first
actually-
step is admitting.
Yep.
Yeah, and no, the very first step is being aware.
Yep.
Being aware of a problem, and then I don't know, maybe
Awareness
yeah,
matters.
having
eh?
a discussion, and then putting a plan in place. But very important that you're aware.
Yeah, I think an important part of any process is like reflection, is always looking back, and seeing how far you've come, because that's really the only way you're gonna notice if you've progressed at all, and working towards something.
Yep.
One like small, tiny step that I took, the Facebook alerts. You've been on here for 35 minutes.
Yep.
That thing.
What?
Yep.
I promise you, I've
that a-
never seen
is
that.
that a
before.
thing?
That,
Yeah,
that,
it's a thing.
that's a new thing. I don't know. I recently put it on like 2 weeks ago when I was thinking about this. But it just alerts you. It would be even better. I don't know if this works in theory. If it just completely locked you out.
Yeah.
You know, like do you remember when you Candy Crush and the lives took 24 hours? They should shut off the app until your life comes back, right? You get 2 lives every week, and you can use it to
Mate,
go on.
Our parents
then-
would go crazy if they shut down Facebook for 24 hours.
But then it's bad when you have to pay for lives when you start
Yeah,
spending
yeah,
actual
when you
Yeah,
money.
but that was the whole point, is to get you to spend that money.
Yeah. I just got here some of my good and bad habits.
Okay. That's
Some
it,
of my
bro.
my better habits, I would say, is you guys are aware of my my little weight loss journey over the last like 3 to 4 years.
Oh, yep.
The man.
Part of like my routine now is trying to do something at least once a week, or trying to stay active. You guys know I had issues with my back, so I'm doing everything I can to.
And your neck?
And my
Don't finish it. Don't finish it.
What
yeah,
else?
like I've had issues with my back, and
Toss and turn.
and I was I had stuff that ruled me out for like a month where I couldn't get out of bed. Those are like doing stuff to prevent that. And what I got here, my bad habits is being lazy through winter for me. Lazy through winter,
Yeah.
and that's a hard thing for me. When winter comes around, I fall into bad habits where I don't want to train.
Yeah.
My eating gets out of control, and you guys can help me out with that, because I don't know how I break that habit of being lazy through winter. It's so hard to get out of bed and do something
Yeah.
when it's so cold.
That's a big
you know?
one. That'll be a big one for me as well. I think maybe not like specific as yours, but actually putting in a plan.
Yeah.
Like a health plan. Chris
Yeah.
touched on it earlier as well. Like actually, like the bad habits that you have around eating, sleeping, maybe even exercising
And drinking.
and
Yeah.
drinking is probably the biggest one. But yeah,
That's why I
Yeah.
talk about processes and systems. It's important that we have, because it's like it's good to have goals, aspirations to try and break a habit or create a new one. But what are you doing to get there? Right?
actually, yeah.
What are you doing from now? Like, yep, awareness is the first issue. It's the first step. But then creating that plan, having that process, and going back to what Ezra was saying, man, winter is hard because first of all it's cold and we're not balling up. So well, it's not ball season, so it is tough. Like, man, I can't be bothered waking up to go for a walk or run in the cold day. Even going to the gym like early in the morning or even in the afternoon because there's so many people there. But yeah, winter is definitely a hard time to navigate when it comes to fitness, when it comes to eating well, because you want to put on the kilos to stay warm anyway. So you're constantly eating
Fair,
out,
fair.
or
So justified there. Yeah.
but like sorry, before I went to wrap it up. So sorry, Ezra. Just to wrap things up, I just want to encourage everybody out there just to make a start. That's where it comes to. Be aware of your habits that you want to create or the ones that you want to break. Then make the start. You have to start, because if you don't get off the ground, if you don't move, if you don't go to the gym, it's about being 1% better every day. Breaking habits, building positive habits. It's a grind. It's about consistency. It's about moving. If you want to eat healthier, it's about avoiding that KFC drive-through. And as hard as it is, as easy as that sounds, like, man, when you smell that KFC through the window. Oh, yeah. That
Will
lemon
you
herb.
smell it from upstairs?
When you smell it, you're going
From
to
the
go
rumpus
through
room?
that drive-through way. So, yeah, I just want to encourage everybody. Make a start.
Yeah.
Be aware of what you're doing,
Mm.
but then also be consistent in it as well.
And you know what? All we have is time. Eh?
It's each other.
I was gonna say each other, but I don't know if we even have that. We have time.
Mm.
Like, and I'm not even trying to downplay like that. The struggle is real for people, eh? And it's so hard because a lot of people, especially our people, these things like getting to sleep on time, being able to eat a bit more, eat healthy, to exercise. These things are placed on the back burner because
Yep.
they're just busy in the grind. Eh? And I
And-
don't want to
yeah.
downplay any of that.
And
But-
have people around you that will
Yeah,
help
yeah.
you through that too. Be like what we were saying in I think it was episode 2. Surround yourself with good people. That's why it's important, because they're gonna help you through that journey of breaking those bad habits, creating the good ones.
Hard. And the takeaway here, I think, is really just about, look, set up your systems and have processes in place, when you're thinking about your goals. And it's nice to have goals, but those are just dreams without plans,
Yep. So true.
There's no
Without commitment,
But-
you won't. You'll never start.
there's
Without
really
consistency.
no road or path there, eh?
Yep.
And that's where the system and the process comes in. And of course, just taking care of yourself, eh?
Yeah.
Your health, both physically and mentally, but also spiritually, and time. Like I said, it's all, that's the one thing that we all have.
Yep.
We all have it, whether you're out here or locked up
Or in timeout.
or in timeout.
An
you know?
adult timeout, aka
All we have
prison.
is time. So I mean, use it to the best of your ability. Create some good habits. Get rid of the ones that aren't doing anything for you.
Yep.
The ones that are holding you back, boys.
Mhm.
Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Yeah, I just got this one quote that I read.
He's a man of many
Quote
quotes.
man.
It
What
rings
is
true to me, and it is, you can do it. Put your back into it. Right. I think his name is Jeff Bezos.
Nice. What do you got, Paul?
Now that we've unpacked like habits, all sorts of habits, I think like real habits are of true insight into your character and more so your personality.
So
and-
true.
But then again, on the environment that you're in and the people that are around you as well. So if you take care of something as simple as maybe start with one habit, like I know I'll start with maybe just being on time to everything, and then hopefully build on the next habit, and then also what's it called? Also being not too fussed about the habits that you can't tackle immediately.
Yep.
I think that'll be for the big one for me, and don't get frustrated and fall back into old habits. But yeah,
Jeff, what about? Sorry,
that's
just
me.
what about one of your good habits that you do before bed? I remember you telling me.
Oh yeah,
with
one of
your phone.
yeah. Just quickly, if this is gonna help anybody, before you go to bed, put your phone somewhere far, so that so that when your alarm goes off in the morning, you have to physically stand up and go turn it off. And once you're up, you're good to go. And it also eliminates you being on your phone in bed, because you are putting it somewhere that you physically have to get up and go to. But yeah, my final thoughts is, don't be too hard on yourself as well. Hey, don't be too hard on yourself, because it is hard. It is a tough process. But surround yourself with good people. Be consistent in what you do as well. And just remember, it's about being 1% better every day. It's not about it's not about this massive jump that you're going to get rid of the habit or create the habit straight away. But it is about the small steps you take each and every day that add up.
And here's my one thing that I think is going to help everyone. I'm telling you, it sounds ridiculous, but in practice, it's amazing. My mom taught me this. Everything has a place. Think about that for a second.
Wait.
Oh, I lost my keys. No, you didn't.
Nah,
Oh my gosh, I just had my phone. where's its place? You know what
I
I'm saying?
purposely put it behind the
Everything
couch underneath. yeah.
I purposely put it in the crack of the couch.
You know what the worst one is? When you lose something, oh, where'd you lose it? How am I supposed to know where I lost it?
You
Do you know who has a habit of losing things?
Mina.
Matua. Matua Slips. Like he probably has. That's his one habit that we know. He's just. Where's
Yeah.
my keys? Oh, where's my?
And that's what I'm saying. If everything had a place, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Sorry, I laughed at you because I was waiting for the punchline. I was like,
No,
oh.
that's the punchline.
That is the punchline.
Yeah. Take that and do with it what you will.
We'll still be here next week.
It'll still be here next week, okay? But as always, like and subscribe. Thank you so much for the follows. We appreciate it. And let us know your thoughts. Boys, another one in the bag. Let's go. Good work. Really? Hiya.